questions during job interviews not only turns it into a two-sided conversation, but it also shows your future employer that you are prepared and interested in the position. In this video, I'm sharing 3 types of questions you should ask during your next interview, including sample questions you can take and use word for word. And stick around until the end for your very own free copy of my interview guide cheat sheet, where you'll learn how to answer the most difficult interview questions, including sample responses you can tailor for your next interview. Hey, I'm Heather, a career strategy expert helping you land your next big career opportunity so you can grow in a field you love. Now, if you've not yet done so, make sure you tap that subscribe button down below, and remember to also tap the bell notification so you're notified when I host a live training or publish a new video every week here on my channel. Before any job interview, one of the most important steps you can take is preparing a list of questions to ask your interviewer. Now, these questions don't necessarily need to be asked at the end of the interview. If you recognize an opportunity to ask questions during the interview rather than at the end, then go for it. Remember, you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. You want to make sure the position fits your career goals and aspirations. Now, you also want your interview to be natural and conversational. And a few more guidelines before I jump into the questions to ask during your interview. First, don't ask obvious questions that you can find answers to with a little bit of research, such as, what does this company do? Or how can I take these days off after I'm hired? These types of questions are a big red flag to employers. Second, avoid me questions and yes or no questions. Now, me questions put your needs ahead of the company. This includes things like compensation, health insurance, and work schedule. Now, although these types of things are super important, you'll be able to address them as you get further in the interview process or after you receive a job offer. Now, yes or no questions are dead-end questions and leave no room for conversation. Okay, let's jump into it. You'll definitely want to take notes. 3 types of questions that you need to ask your interviewer. So remember, when it comes to questions to ask, you're creating a two-way conversation with them. When you go to that job interview, you need to know just as much as they do if the position is a good fit for you. And you're going to understand that better by asking really smart questions, okay? So a couple categories I want you to think about is, I want you to think about questions that you can ask that relate specifically to the company. I want you to think about questions you can ask that relate specifically to the position. And then really importantly, questions about the team. So the people you will be working with, okay? This is so important, because what we know from job seekers that quit their jobs, they don't always quit because of the company or the position. A lot of times they quit because of the people. So it could be a colleague, it could be a boss, a really crappy manager. So you need to know, what is this team like, okay? So these 3 questions, I'm going to share a couple of examples for each category. So a few questions that you can ask about the company. I understand your company values are XYZ. You're going to know that by doing your research, and then you're going to talk to them about it in the interview. What characteristics do you look for in employees in order to represent those values? So for example, I coached a client who was getting a position at Apple in one of the Apple stores. And one of the biggest things that Apple looks for in their employees, especially a front-facing employee that is going to interact with customers, is happy. Like someone that's in a good mood, someone that doesn't get agitated quickly, someone that is really good with people, that has a positive mindset. You know, you could have a customer that comes in and says, my computer broke and this thing sucks and you guys suck and I want my money back. Like, how are you going to deal with that, right? So what you're going to do here is, what characteristics do you look for in an employee in order to represent those values, okay? And that's one of the examples that reminds me of. Another question here is, how do leaders promote and encourage employee growth and success, okay? So if we think back to that Amazon example that I shared with you, that's one of the things that they are saying, hey, we're the #1 top employer according to LinkedIn for 2022, and it's because we allow our employees to advance. We allow them to gain more skills, and we promote growth, okay? So this is one thing you could say, well, what are you actually doing to make that happen, okay? Now let's look at questions really quick about the position, okay? So what have prior employees done to succeed in this position? So again,
again, this is where they're going to say, hey, well, Sally Sue, she did X, Y, and Z. And then you can kind of say, ooh, can I live up to that? Like, is that something that I think I can do? Or can I do it even better than what Sally Sue did? Okay. Another question in this category is, how does this position contribute to the organization's success? Okay. So this will give you a really good idea of, if I'm coming into this position, how am I affecting everyone else? Okay. How is this going to play a bigger picture so that, when I get up for work in the morning, I'm like, I'm going to make a difference. I'm not just waking up and going to a 9 to 5 and whatnot. I'm going to actually be contributing to the overall success of this company. So that's why I love this question. And by the way, you guys, in my Academy program, we have lots of these questions. So I'm just kind of giving you guys, I'm scratching the surface with a couple questions. Okay, when it comes to questions about the team, can you tell me more about the team I will be working on and how the company fosters a healthy team environment? Okay, so again, this is where maybe you are a project manager and you're going to be working with the engineering team, the designers. You've also got the CEO that you're going to be working with, or leadership team. You got to understand, like, how does it all come together? Okay, that's one of my favorite questions. Another one of my favorite questions about team is, what are the current goals the company is focused on, and how does this team work to support hitting those goals? Okay, so again, this gives you an idea of, like, what are you going to be doing with your team to reach the goals that the company has?
Now tell me in the chat, what question will you be asking in your next interview? And as promised, you can grab your free copy of my interview guide cheat sheet right here. I'll also place a special link for you down below. And to help you conquer your next interview, click or tap this video right here to learn my special 4-part formula for answering the most commonly asked interview question, tell me about yourself. Now, if you like this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button down below. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this, and I'll see you in the next one.